Welcome to Focus English with Cece.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Focus English with Cece. I'm Cece, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
And I'm Tom. It's great to see you all again. If you want to improve your real-life English, you've come to the right place.
I'm feeling wonderful, Tom. You know why? Because today we are talking about a topic that connects everyone. Whether you are in New York, Tokyo, or Canada, you deal with this every day. We are talking about news.
News. Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with the news, Cece. Sometimes it's exciting, but sometimes it's just too much.
I totally understand, Tom. That's why today's episode is so important. We aren't just learning words, we are learning how to discuss news in English.
That's right. Today you will learn, first, important vocabulary like breaking news, headlines, and sources. Next, we talk about how to evaluate information so you don't get fooled by fake stories. How to talk about your news consumption habits. And finally, my favorite, discussion techniques to share your opinion politely.
This episode is packed with value. By the end, you'll be able to open a news app and feel confident, not confused.
But wait, before we dive into the first part, we have a tiny request. If you love learning English through real conversations, please hit that subscribe button below.
Yes, and click the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. We are here every day to help you speak English naturally. Are you ready, Tom?
I'm more than ready. Let's get started.
Okay, Tom. Let's start with the word we see everywhere, breaking news. What does that mean to you?
Well, breaking news is when I'm watching a movie and suddenly the screen changes and says, "Important update." It's news that is happening right now.
Exactly. Breaking news is fresh, urgent, and immediate. It's like the news is breaking into your regular schedule because it's so important.
I see. And usually the first thing I see is a very big, bold sentence. That's the headline, right?
Correct. The headline is the title. A headline has one job, to make you click. But here is a warning for our listeners. Sometimes a headline can be biased.
Biased. I remember that word. It means it's not neutral. It's like when a person tells a story, but only from their own side.
Perfect definition, Tom. When news is biased, it shows a strong opinion. It tries to influence how you feel. So, to be a smart learner, you must check the source.
A source is where the news comes from, like a newspaper, a website, or a journalist. I try to use reliable sources.
Reliable. That's a key word. Reliable means you can trust it. If your neighbor says a dragon is flying over the city, is that a reliable source?
Probably not. I would need to verify that story.
Yes, verify. To verify means to check the facts. You look at different reliable sources to see if they all say the same thing. If they do, then it's likely true.
But, Cece, it's hard these days. There is so much misinformation on the internet. Misinformation is false or wrong information, right?
Yes, Tom. Misinformation is a big problem. Sometimes it's a mistake, but sometimes people create it on purpose to trick us. That's why I always use this idiom. Take it with a grain of salt.
A grain of salt? Like I put on my French fries?
Kind of. When you take something with a grain of salt, it means you don't believe it 100% immediately. You are a little bit skeptical. You think, let me verify this first before I believe it.
I love that. Take it with a grain of salt. I will use that next time I see a shocking headline on social media.
Good idea. Now let's talk about news consumption habits. That means, how do you consume or eat your news?
Well, I used to check the news every 5 minutes. I wanted to keep up with everything. Keep up with means to stay informed and not miss anything. But then I started feeling tired.
That sounds like news fatigue, Tom.
News fatigue. That is exactly what I had. I felt exhausted and stressed because the news was always so loud and negative. My news consumption habit was actually making me unhappy.
I think many of our listeners feel news fatigue too. It's okay to take a break. You don't need to keep up with every single story every second.
Now I only check the news twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. It's much better for my mental health.
That's a very healthy way to handle it. You stay informed, but you don't let the news consume you. Hey everyone, are you enjoying the conversation so far? We've covered breaking news, headlines, biased sources, and even learned how to verify information to avoid misinformation.
If you've learned at least one new word or if you've ever felt news fatigue like me, please hit that like button right now. It helps us know that you find this helpful.
And don't go anywhere. In the next part, we're going to talk about how to actually discuss these topics with other people. We'll talk about the magic phrases to share your opinion politely.
Yes, stay until the end to learn about media literacy and the different nature of news topics.
Okay, everyone, we are moving into my favorite part of the episode. Now that we have the vocabulary, how do we actually use it? How do we talk about the news with friends, family, or colleagues?
This is the hard part, Cece. Sometimes I have a strong opinion, but I don't know how to say it in English. Or sometimes my friend says something that sounds like misinformation, and I want to tell them, but I don't want to be mean.
That is why we need discussion techniques. Talking about news is not just about sharing facts, it's about sharing perspectives.
Perspectives. That's a good word. It means the way someone sees something, right?
Exactly, because many news topics are controversial. Remember that word? It means people disagree. So when you start a conversation, don't just say, "This is the truth." Instead, use opening phrases.
Like what? Give me some magic words, Cece.
Okay, here's the first one. Have you been keeping up with, for example, Tom, have you been keeping up with the news about the new electric cars?
Oh, that's much better than, did you see the news? It sounds like I am interested in the whole story.
Right. And when you want to give your opinion, don't start with "I think" every time. Try this. From what I understand.
From what I understand. Let me try. From what I understand, electric cars are better for the environment, but they are very expensive. How's that?
Perfect. Why is that phrase good? Because it shows you are not a know-it-all. It shows you have read some information, but you are open to more. It makes you sound very media literate.
Media literacy again. I really want to master this superpower.
To have media literacy, you must also know how to ask about the source. Tom, if I tell you, I read that eating chocolate makes you fly, what would you ask me?
I would ask, Cece, what is your source? Is it a reliable source?
Exactly. And in a real conversation, you can say, "That's interesting. Where did you read that?" Or, "Which source did you get that from?" This is a polite way to check if the information is true or if it is just misinformation.
But Cece, what if we are talking about something very controversial, like politics? People get very angry. How do I stay calm in English?
This is where we use the technique of respectfully disagreeing. Even if you think the other person is 100% wrong, you should acknowledge them first. Try this phrase. "I see your point, but..."
I see your point, but... Okay, let's practice. Cece, say something controversial.
Okay. "I think all newspapers should be free and no one should pay for news."
I see your point, but if news is free, how can we pay the professional journalists? If we don't pay them, the quality of news might go down.
Excellent, Tom. You acknowledged my idea and then you gave your own perspective. You didn't say, "You are wrong." You said, "I see your point." That keeps the conversation friendly.
I feel much more confident. Another phrase I like is, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yes, that is a great one. It shows you are a good listener. When someone gives you a new piece of information or a different biased view, saying, I hadn't thought about it that way, shows you are thinking critically. That is a big part of media literacy.
Cece, why is media literacy so important for society? Why can't we just read and believe?
Because, Tom, the world is full of different sources with different goals. Some want to inform you, some want to sell you something, and some want to change your mind. If you don't have media literacy, you are like a boat in the ocean with no map. You will just go wherever the wind blows.
Wow, that's a deep thought. So, media literacy is my map. It helps me find the reliable sources and avoid the misinformation and the biased headlines.
Exactly. And it helps you discuss things with others without fighting. Imagine a world where everyone could respectfully disagree. We would have much better conversations about current events.
Current events. That's another word for what is happening now, right?
Yes, current events are the stories in the news today. Talking about current events is the best way to practice your English because the topics are always changing. One day it's technology, the Southsea day it's sports, the next day it's the environment.
I agree. I feel like my English improves the most when I try to explain a complex story to someone else. It forces me to use all these new words like verify, source, and perspective.
And it forces you to verify your own thoughts. Sometimes when we speak, we realize, wait, do I really know if this is true, or should I take it with a grain of salt?
Yes, sometimes I start talking and then I think, wait, Tom, you only read the headline. You didn't read the whole article. You were being biased.
That's the first step. Being honest with yourself is a huge part of being media literate.
So, to our friends watching, next time you talk about the news, try to use from my perspective or based on what I've read. It will change your conversations.
And if someone says something shocking, don't forget to ask, where did you hear that? Always look for the reliable source.
Cece, I'm feeling much better about my discussion techniques now, but I have one more question. Why are some topics so much heavier than others? Like, why does political news feel so different from a story about a cute puppy?
That is a perfect question. It's about the nature of news topics. Not all news is created equal, Tom.
I'm ready to learn the difference. Let's go.
Okay, Tom. Earlier, you asked a great question. You asked why a story about a puppy feels so different from a story about a war or the economy.
Yes, one makes me want to cry and hide under my bed, and the other makes me smile and go, "Aw." Why is that, Cece?
It's because of the nature of news. In journalism, we usually divide news into two big categories, hard news and soft news.
Hard news, like a hard rock, and soft news, like a soft pillow?
You could say that. Hard news is heavy. It is serious, factual, and very urgent. Think about politics, international conflicts, big economic changes, or natural disasters. These are the stories that are usually breaking news.
Okay, so if the price of gasoline goes up, or if two countries are having a disagreement, that is hard news.
Correct. The goal of hard news is to inform you about important things that affect society. It focuses on the 5 Ws: who, what, where, when, and why. It's usually written in a very direct way. Not many colorful words, just facts.
But Cece, hard news is often so negative. It feels like every time I read hard news, it's just doom and gloom.
Ah, doom and gloom. Let's explain that phrase to our friends. Doom and gloom describes a situation where everything feels dark, hopeless, and pessimistic.
That is exactly it. Doom and gloom. I see a headline about a disaster and then another headline about an accident. It gives me that news fatigue we talked about earlier.
I agree, but there's a reason for this. There's a saying in news, if it bleeds, it leads.
If it bleeds, it leads? That sounds a bit scary.
It means that dramatic or violent stories often get the most attention. People click on them more. That's why hard news can feel like constant doom and gloom. But that is only half of the world, Tom. That's why we have soft news.
Tell me about the soft pillow news.
Soft news is also called human interest stories. These are stories that focus on people's emotions, experiences, and lives. They are not always urgent, but they are very interesting.
Like a story about a person who started a school for poor children, or a story about a new invention that helps people walk again?
Exactly. Those are human interest stories. They make us feel connected to other humans. They are not just about facts, they're about heart.
I love human interest stories. They're like the dessert after a heavy meal of hard news. They help me feel better after all the doom and gloom.
That's a great way to put it. And here's a secret, Tom. Many international news sources are now trying to include more solution journalism.
Solution journalism? What is that?
Instead of just reporting the problem, the hard news, they also report on how people are solving the problem. It's a mix of hard news and human interest. It helps you stay informed without feeling hopeless.
I like that. It's like media literacy for my heart. I can read about a problem, but also see a solution.
Now, let's talk about local news versus international news. Tom, which one do you read more?
I think I read more international news on my phone because it's everywhere, but sometimes I feel like I don't know what's happening in my own city.
That happens to many people. International news is important for your global perspective. It helps you understand world history and different cultures. But local news is what affects your daily life.
Like if there's a traffic jam on the main street, or if the local grocery store is having a big sale.
Yes, or if there's a meeting about the new park in your neighborhood. Local news is very practical, and usually local news has more human interest stories because the people in the news are your neighbors.
Oh, I see. So local news feels more personal.
Exactly. But wait, we must be careful. Even local news can be biased. For example, if the local newspaper is owned by someone who wants to build a big shopping mall, they might only write positive stories about the mall.
Ah, so I still need to verify the source, even if it's just a small story about my town.
100%. Whether it's hard news about a global war or a human interest story about a local hero, you must always ask, is this reliable? Is it biased?
And don't forget to take it with a grain of salt.
You're learning fast. Now, Tom, imagine you see a story about a scientific breakthrough in medicine. Is that hard news or soft news?
That's tricky. It's a serious fact, so it's hard news, but it gives me hope, so it feels like a human interest story.
That is a great observation. Some of the best news stories are a bit of both. They give us important information, but they also inspire us. These are the stories that help us fight news fatigue.
I think I want to change my news consumption habit. I want to look for 50% hard news to stay smart and 50% human interest stories to stay happy.
That's a perfect balance, Tom. It's like a healthy diet for your brain. You get the vitamins from the serious facts and the energy from the positive stories.
Cece, I've learned so much. I didn't know that news was such a big world. I thought it was just reading words on a screen.
News is a mirror of the world, Tom. It has the good, the bad, the hard, and the soft. By understanding the nature of news topics, you can choose what you consume and how you feel.
And my English feels much stronger too. I can now explain the difference between doom and gloom and a human interest story.
And that is the goal of this channel, to give you the language and the thinking skills to be a global citizen.
I'm ready for the wrap-up. Let's make sure everyone remembers these great words.
Wow, Tom, we have traveled through the whole world of news today, from the fast-paced breaking news to the heartwarming human interest stories. How do you feel?
My brain is buzzing, Cece, but in a good way. I feel like I have a map now. I don't just see the news, I understand how it works.
That is exactly what we wanted. Before we go, let's do a power wrap-up for our friends at home. Let's see if we can remember the big words. Tom, are you ready for a quick quiz?
I'm born ready. Let's do it.
Okay, what do we call the title of a news story that is designed to catch your eye?
That's the headline. And remember, don't let a shocking headline trick you.
Good. What do we call information that is false or misleading?
That is misinformation. It's like a fake story that pretends to be real.
And what should we do when we see a story that looks a bit strange or too good to be true?
We must verify it. We check reliable sources to see if the facts are correct. We don't just believe it immediately. We take it with a grain of salt.
You're on fire, Tom. Now, what about a report that only shows one side of the story?
That is biased news. A smart learner always looks for a balance.
And when you feel stressed and tired because there are too many negative stories?
That is news fatigue. When that happens, I stop, I take a breath, and I look for some soft news or human interest stories to feel better. I stay away from the doom and gloom.
Perfect. And for our friends who want to discuss the news, what is the magic phrase to be polite?
I love this one. From my perspective, or I see your point, but it's the best way to be respectfully disagreeing.
I am so proud of you, Tom, and I am proud of everyone watching this video. Learning these words is the first step to becoming a global citizen with high media literacy.
It really is. You know, Cece, I used to be afraid of talking about current events in English, but now I have the tools, I have the vocabulary and the discussion techniques.
And that is the secret. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be curious and critical.
Friends, now it's your turn. We have a challenge for you. Look at the news today. Find one headline that interests you.
Yes, write that headline in the comments below. Tell us, is the source reliable? Is it hard news or a human interest story? And try to use the phrase, from my perspective, to tell us what you think about it.
We want to see a sea of English in the comments. We read every single one and we learn from you too.
Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Join the Focus English with CC family. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can keep up with all our new lessons.
And if this video helped you fight news fatigue or learn a new idiom, give us a like. It really helps our channel grow so we can help more people around the world.
Share this video with your friends. Maybe you can practice respectfully disagreeing with each other over a cup of coffee.
That sounds like a perfect today.
Thank you everyone for watching. Remember, stay curious, stay critical, and always verify your facts.
See you in the next episode. Happy learning, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.